hopping into game number 1 here, and I think maybe the best thing for Air Surfer to do, Juicy, would be to slow things down and use what is strong in the meta, which means I'd love to see some archers, I'd love to see a Goblin Giant, I'd love to see something big and beefy for him to control this matchup.
I see a Knight and a Tombstone from Mohamed Light, and I can't help but think this could be Splash Art. Last World Finals, Mo Light and his coach came up to me and told me that they use Splash Art specifically instead of something else for me.
Yeah, you see right there, Mo has a big recognition. The Rage comes down, takes the Tombstone off the board. Mo kind of thinks, tilts his head for a moment, and he goes, oh, I think he knows what matchup he's got. And honestly, I think you might hit the nail on the head there for what Mo's running.
Absolutely, yeah. It is Splash Art, and he's got a great matchup. This Goblin Giant recruit stack struggles very, a lot versus Splash Art because there's so many ways to deal with the recruits.
Yeah, and that, of course, that poison is going to be a lot to deal with for those goblins in case you want to drop them on top of the graveyard incoming. Maybe a Little Prince far behind that, but we'll have to see when the offense comes in.
Goblin split here, doing a good job of cycling through. He is not getting his pump down yet, so maybe it's the non-pump variation. He's using Boulder instead. That Boulder definitely could make a huge difference here. It does a great job dealing with those Tombstones.
Yeah, I mean, talk to me about this, Juice. You have been a Splash Art player for a very, very long time. I know it's not really your go-to anymore, but when you look at this matchup, do you feel, where is it in terms of how close are we to 50-50?
You know, it's really tough to say. I mean, Splash Art, it's one of those decks where you can almost win no matter what, but you need to play perfectly. And that's what Mo Light does best.
Yeah, and right now we see Air Surfer really using all the things that are really the most popular and dominant in the meta. There's the Goblin Giant, Bowler is everywhere, Archers are out, and is Little Prince. And here comes the next GY. Archers behind, right on top.
Evo Archers going to be the Evo of choice here. I really like that. I think the Evo Archers could give Air Surfer a great chance to break through along with the Goblin Giant in the middle.
A really clean defense there from Air Surfer, taking almost 0 damage, enough elixir to set up a Goblin Giant opposite lane. And this is a really nice thing for him to make sure that Mo can't build up those big pushes at the bridge and then get that GY down in the back.
Little Prince dealing with his Baby Giant quite nicely. He's getting a plus, what is that, almost 5 trade there. Evo Archer's at the bridge. I love this Baby Dragon.
Was that a predictive Baby Dragon looking for the Archers? What a play there by Mo Light. Air Surfer still gets some good damage on tower. Now Tombstone comes out to deal with the Bowler, but Bowler, that's a Magic Archer, not a Bowler anymore.
Bowler, the Magic Archer that survives Rocket, getting 2 shots to the tower, bring the tower down to 1553 already. Lightning getting even more damage. Air Surfer's in a massive damage lead.
This is huge, and now Mohamed Light forced to play in the lane. That is the weaker of the two. We'll see how Air Surfer wants to deal with this moving forward. Decent NATO there, maybe not the best ability use there of the Guardian. We'll see though.
Little Prince gonna deal with this Goblin Giant from the opposite lane, trying to prevent any sort of lightning value. Little Prince counter pushing forward. Boulder always same lane. Boulder's really coming to the meta because of how strong Little Prince is. It's one of the best natural counters.
And what's so great about this is when you are dealing with Graveyard, you can get that Bowler up just a little bit higher, and then the ability of that tank to cross the bridge kind of goes out the window, which means you gotta start tanking with that Baby Dragon more often.
But it seems like Air Surfer is always having that Little Prince's cycle for the Baby Dragon. Does such a great job of DPSing it down. I also love how Air Surfer is utilizing the 3-card cycle of that Little Prince to get back to even more Archers for getting that Egg Velotion down.
There we go, Barb Barrel at the bridge. Guardian comes out but misses the Barbarian. Graveyard is in, and that is a huge Graveyard for Mo Light. Goblin Giant up top now, distracted by that Tombstone. Bowler very, very healthy. Little Prince down as well. We'll see if Air Surfer can turn this into some decent offense. 11:55 to 15:31. 1 minute remains in match number 1.
Another Goblin Giant at the bridge. It's raged up, but look at that. Little Prince is completely charged up, taking everything out. Lightning gets a bit of chip damage. Mo Light just barely surviving these pushes, and it is triple elixir. Maybe he can make the comeback, but it's looking great for Air Surfer right now.
15:31, 8:38, 40 seconds remain. Bowler cycled in the back. Goblin Giant going opposite lane to make sure that Mo Light can't get too aggressive here. Poison comes down. Archers are not touched by anything.
NATO to pull back. Barber will take it out. Goblin Giant is a massive threat, though. Boulder at the bridge. Another Tombstone in cycle. We have a lot on the board for Air Surfer. Mo Light needs to go off, and so there's only 20 seconds left.
And you can see they're not very comfortable with the position he's in. Is Mo Light forcing in this GY? He needs a lot of damage. Remember, Air Surfer has time. He has the lightning, and maybe a misplay there from Mo. Air Surfer is going to take game number 1.
GG's, ladies and gentlemen. I can't believe it. Will we see Air Surfer get this massive upset in round 1?
I mean, an incredible play. Here we go, game number 2 coming your way. Evo'd Skellies have really, I mean, you talk about the evolution conversation, it feels like it is still Archers, Knight, Rascals, but I really feel like the Skellies are climbing the leaderboard in terms of evolutions.
Phoenix in the back from Air Surfer, Log from Mohamed Light. Would not be surprised to maybe see some Royal Giant from Air Surfer here. No, it's a balloon deck, and here comes the Pigs from Mo.
Pigs at the bridge, and he's got the bomb tower. That's a great matchup there. You can see Mohamed Light maybe not too happy about that. A little bit of a grimace on his face, if you will. And that's a great snowball from Air Surfer. Juicy, you were talking to me about snowball this week.
Yeah, Snowball's such an underrated spell. You know, there's Log, obviously, the most favorite small spell for these pro players, but it is duels formatting. You can't use Log every single time. Snowball does such a great job versus Archers, but also does such a great job of stunning those little princes.
Yeah, and that is really a big part of game plan these days, even though we know now in game number 2 there weren't going to be any little princes, but still, that snowball coming in, assisting that balloon. And there we go, we just talked about it. Monk is here, so Air Surfer really relying and leaning on these champions in the first 2 games, and I gotta say, Juice, I love it.
Yeah, the other thing to mention here is Mo Light's choice of building. He's got the Goblin Cage, which is recently buffed, but it's not going to be very good versus those balloons. You'd much rather have a Tesla in this situation.
And Miner chipping away on that tower. We got some Evo'd Skellies here. Nothing to deal with them, and you can see Mohamed Light knows he got his number called right there. How does Air Surfer want to double down on this? 17-19 to 15-72.
Wow, and that is just the difference maker that Evos do. Personally, I saw Air Surfer at 3 Elixir, and I thought the game was over. I thought those pigs were taking that tower. But the 1 Elixir, Evo Skeletons in Cycle do so well of taking those pigs out for a positive 4 trade.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Rich always talks about. He's like, when I see evolutions, I want them to change the way that you play the game. And the idea that you can have Skeletons save you in a moment like that is a really, really great call. So shout out to you, Rich. I know you're going to be here in just a minute.
But this is not the evil version of Skellies here. These piggies are doing some great damage. Archers do go down, and the second set of Archers do as well. This Phoenix is looking scary.
The Monk is reflecting. The Phoenix is right there. Delivery comes in. 10:54, 10:33, neck and neck, 30 seconds remaining in regulation.
You almost couldn't ask for a closer game. We got wind conditions coming down both lanes. Archers on defense on the left, and we got a bomb tower on defense on the right.
And Blue comes in again, a late Goblin Cage, and that's it! That is it! Mohamed Light needs a miracle!
My God, there's 10 seconds left. Does he have another round of pigs?
And he's calling the good game, Juicy!
Even if he does, it's not enough. There you have it. Air Surfer with the upset, taking round 1 match versus the world champion.
A 3-1 deficit in terms of the prop.